I wanted to talk about how the whole world was happier without these people, as a fact. Like, the world, not just me, the whole world was happier without these people. You know, Blondie knew that. He couldn't let the N-word win. And, you know, once again, Blondie lies about everything, and the church's gonna lie about everything. You couldn't make them do to, maybe the wish. You guys have to be honest. You just have to tell everybody the truth about the church. You're not allowed to keep secrets anymore. Probably solve the problem overnight. I remember at one time I wished that anal eating mummy god had to have agency in his life, and he called back, told me he can't do that. Also, I remember told me he had to get rid of the LSD. He called back and told me they can't do that because they're drug addicts. And people, oh, LSD is not addictive. No, it is. The CIA just didn't put it on the addictive list. Anyways, we're not going to waste our time with that. So this was probably the last time I talked to the anal eating mummy god, white supremacist god, whatever you want to call him. It's a really cryptic fucking phone call, but I guess it's about Blondie. So Blondie, if you're watching this, stay tuned, because you're gonna hear the words you never got as a kid. I wanted to hear them. You stupid fuck. So anal eating mummy god calls, and he's like, I have this son that completely rejects his heritage on every level, and he could be something great. He's wise, he's smart, he's intelligent, but he's not a man of action. He believes that the universe or flowing is somehow gonna get him to what he wants. And I was like, so he's entitled. It's Blondie. And he's like, and this other guy, and he could be something really great if he would just believe in himself. And I was just like, anal eating mummy god, Blondie believes in himself. Trust me, it takes a whole lot of fucking nerve to poison somebody for who knows how long with heavy metals. As far as Blondie went to steal my wives, it takes a whole lot of self-confidence to do that. As far as Blondie went to ruin my life, make sure I couldn't get any money no matter what. And even when I was president, I don't know if you know this, when I was president, he called the FBI on me because, you know, remember the wives hypnotized me to see the babies as watermelons, so I was up there plowing watermelons, and he called the FBI on me to tell them I was having sex with babies. Like, he's very confident, okay? And calling the FBI on the president, fun fact, is a death penalty. And I'm an idiot. I was a stupid ruler, so I no violence or whatever, because I'm an idiot. I should have just fucking killed him. I should have just had him fucking killed, but I told the wives not to murder him. That was on me, though. This is the mistake of being an altruist, okay? Anyways, anal eating mummy god's like, and he thinks all of his value comes from money. Remember, Blondie? My security is money. Like, yes. Good job. And he just goes, and I was like, okay, let me about the money thing. Is this guy like really poor, and he knows if he had money it could fix all of his problems? Money can't fix all of your problems. Every poor person is tired of hearing that, because here's the general fact. If you are a rich fuck watching this video, you have no real problems. They can all be solved if you use your money intelligently. You get a psychologist, you get a therapist. You work through the fact that mommy and daddy were too busy working to hang out with you. You are a bitch. Nothing more. You have no real problems. All problems in capitalism can be solved with money. Okay? Anyways, and he's like, and I have concerns, like, if I give him money, he might think all his value is money. Blondie already thinks all his value is money. He literally told me that, okay? So, anal eating mummy god, you're just gonna have to deal with that, because this is how your society works, okay? These guys are Nazis, and the whole thing about Germany, when they blame the Jews for everything, is it was the Nazis. They created a massive imbalance between the ultra-rich and the working class, and then eventually the ultra-rich had all the money, and the working class had no money, and then the ultra-rich, instead of being held to account and being forced to pay, because What do they spend their money on? Common sense. Human trafficking, sex, drugs, and they get up to a whole bunch of dumb shit, okay? You need if you are a working class person, stop voting Republican and vote for the motherfucker that says, I'm gonna tax these sons of bitches, okay? Holy shit, unless you want to end up like Nazi Germany, but this is the plan, because even Blondie told me that's the plan! So, how you can be that fucking stupid, I don't know, but whatever, because these guys are war, and they want violence and suffering. And he's like, well, this guy, you know, and I have concerns about that, and he'll never make a good leader unless he learns how to stand up for himself and fight for himself. The problem is he's a pushover. Elite Mummy God, Blondie's not a pushover, dude. Okay? Trust me. He terrorized the fuck out of me. He doesn't know when to stop. He's gonna be great. He's gonna ruin life for everybody because he's a retard. And this guy, like... And I have this other son who has the desirable traits, but he's kind of an idiot. And I was like... Okay. And I was... When I was a kid in 6th grade, 7th grade maybe, I read a story, and it's the story of these two princes, and this is basically what Elite and Mummy God said. There were these two princes, they were twins. One was pushed into poverty, he was given to a poor family, and the other prince grew up rich, and he was like entitled to everything. And there was this beautiful princess, the rich prince wanted, and if he married her, he'd become king. It's marriage shit, you know. The poor prince grew up working hard and learning life lessons and developing and becoming wise, whereas the rich prince was groomed and handed everything, and he learned to be entitled and take and steal and lie and cheat. Whereas the poor prince learned how to value people, become a moral, well-adapted human being. And what happens is eventually the poor prince comes back. The poor brother comes back into the kingdom. And the two princes, there has to be a decision made. But the problem is they're twins. They're born at the same time. And so they decide whoever marries the princess is the winner. Whoever can win the princess or whatever. So the entitled prince does the entitled thing and uses threats, force, lies, manipulations to get the princess, but the princess becomes infatuated with the poor prince, because the poor prince actually lived a life, unlike the rich prince who didn't have a child, that he didn't fucking develop at all. He just fucking sucked, and he was severely emotionally stunted. And he thought like a retard, and he knew one thing: he could not let the rich princess marry the poor brother, because the poor brother was pro-working class and he wanted to help the working class. The rich prince, because he grew up with the rich people, knew the rich people needed more tax cuts, more money, they needed to be given everything because they're fucking losers and they're entitled to everything. And these two brothers came to fighting over the princess. The good brother, or the poor brother, we shouldn't use titles like good or bad. The rich brother starts accusing the poor brother of being self-righteous, telling him, you're self-righteous because you think that helping people's good. You think, and the truth is it's projection. The rich brother is the one that's self-righteous. In his brain, that's where his entitlement comes from, is he's the self-righteous one. And he starts getting fucking crazier and crazier as the working class brother starts earning respect and love from people, and he doesn't like it. And this leads all the way up to the princess's choice, where she chooses the working class brother. Ultimately, because he's more interesting and he's cool and he's actually lived a life, unlike the entitled brother who's an entitled prick that nobody fucking likes because he's a fucking loser. And the princess chooses the working class guy. Unfortunately, the entitled prick decides he don't like that. He can't handle losing because he's never lost. It's never happened to him because it's always been handed to him. It's been easy his entire life. This is the first loss he has ever suffered, and it's his first legitimate loss. Regardless of how much he cheated, how much he manipulated, how much he killed, how much he lied, he lost. And he can't fucking handle it, so he murders the princess. He cuts her throat and she dies. And it's all to stop his brother from ascending the throne. So there's a vote held, and his brother still ascends the throne, and they go to the funeral, where the rich brother, because he's a weak person, immediately blames the working class brother, telling him, this is your fault she's dead. He wanted her, it was his, and the poor brother simply says, is everything an object to you? Is everything some type of value? And he's like, you didn't love her, you just wanted the power. And he's like, you didn't even want to help anybody, you just wanted to ruin life for everyone. You're a piece of shit, dude. And the rich brother gets pissed, turns self-righteous, starts telling the poor brother, you're self-righteous, you don't want to help people, you don't want to do that, you're lying, And then the poor brother gets tired of this guy's shit, and after a while, at one point when the poor brother's king, he gets poisoned, ends up with this necrotizing, like, disease, his body's, like, rotting, his vision's going bad, and the rich brother keeps hurting the guy as he's ruler, as he's helping the working class, because he is fucking envious. Okay, he's envious of how much this guy's loved. He's envious of how much people like him. So he starts working as hard as he can to make people hate this dude. And eventually the guy gets tired of the rich brother's bullshit and has him fucking killed. That is the story. I know it's a bit of a tale, but it's a tale. And I think that's what Anal Eating Mummy God was talking about. He was like, oh, the rich entitled brother is this guy. And the other dude is like this really wise, smart guy that needs to be a leader. But his problem is he doesn't know how to stand up for himself. And that's why he's going to lose. And I was just like, this guy that's the loser, does everybody just kick the shit out of him and worked against him his entire life? And he believes that if he had money, he could change things. And I was just like, I'm just going to agree with that statement as a whole. Rich people win because they have money. That's the only difference between the working class and the fucking poor class, okay? Everything's for sale. It's capitalism. Nobody has morals or values anymore. They don't have what's called integrity. Alright. Everybody's bought and sold. That's how things work in capitalism. That's common sense. You don't have to be smart to figure that out. Alright. And he was like, the poor brother's going to end up being killed because he's not willing to do the things that need to be done, and he has a stupid belief that he can just flow. Has it worked for him? And he's like, what? The flowing thing? Well, he did a lot of amazing things with it. There you go. He'll be fine. No, he won't be fine. He doesn't know how to stand up for his values. He's not willing to fight for anything. I was like, and that's probably because he can't fight for anything, because he's probably at a disadvantage no matter what he does. Regardless of how many times he stands up and says something, he's at a disadvantage. But he's right about everything. He's right about everything, but people don't want him to be right because it hurts their feelings. And when you're right, they don't want to give him the satisfaction of being right, so everybody works against him. They tell him he's wrong, and I was just, okay, trust me, I've done that my entire fucking life. I've been right about everything. Okay, maybe not everything. That sounds arrogant, but I've been right about most things. And guess what? I'm right. And he was like, the guy has no self-respect, and it's not that he doubts himself, he just doesn't try. And I was like, well, has he just had the shit kicked out of him? Yes, he had the shit kicked out of him. Like, that happens when you beat the shit out of people. That's why suffering's bad, because if you keep hurting people enough, eventually they just give up. It's Pavlov dog syndrome, okay? You don't know who Pavlov is? Look it up. I'm not going to explain it to you. We'll be here all fucking night. This video will be fucking 30 minutes long if I explain that entire psychology. And but it's by the system. And I was like, and does this guy understand the system? He does understand the system, but the other guy, I don't believe, I think Anal Eating Mummy God may have projected or misread. You need to remember, narcissists are insecure, and that's just a fact. Blondie hides his insecurities, okay? And here's what you can do, Blondie. Look, I know you want your dad to tell you, he didn't want me to say anything about this, but you're the favorite son. You're an entitled prick that's going to get us all fucking killed, and you need to be proud of yourself for it, okay? Your dumbass dad loves you. He just doesn't want to say it because he's afraid that you're going to stop chasing that attaboy. It's a control thing, alright? And if you want to actually fix this, Blondie, here's what you do. You get those Memphis women and you have them give you a fake childhood if you winning baseball games and dad standing there, Anal Eating Mummy God on the sideline, attaboy, that's my son right there. He's the best boy on the planet, okay? And I was like, and you give them these fake memories, and to you, remember, reality is subjective, so these fake memories can be your real memories. because you're an idiot. There you go. You're welcome. Problem solved. Get on it. Get that attaboy. Good dog. Fucking loser. I don't really get, I guess maybe he was just asking for fatherly advice. He started telling me like the solution is affirmations. I've been doing affirmations recently and they kind of make my head hurt, but also like they have revealed that I do have certain problems with myself, specifically, and I've been using what's called introspective on it. Big word. Emotionally stunted people don't have it. They can't use it. They're idiots. They're stupid like that. And I get tired of it, but I am called self-righteous again and again, but I do actually practice what I preach, and I think that makes me not self-righteous. But he went on, I still remember this shit, like, anal eating mummy god going on. It is, when you don't have values, I'm just going to be clear on this. When you don't have values, everybody you meet is self-righteous. Because your only value is yourself. You only care about yourself. Okay? As a result, when somebody says do something good, try to help people, you immediately go, that person is self-righteous. Because I only care about myself, projection. They only care about their selves. Okay? Blondie doesn't have the ability to actually understand people because he's an imbecile, okay? And according to this church, that's going to make him a great leader because he's going to make sure all the tax cuts go to the useless, stupid fucks in America, and he's going to get us all fucking killed. Trust me, it'll be fucking Germany all over again, except this time it'll be worse. Way worse. It'll be more blood, more violence, and Blondie will go, I'm in control, I'm getting everybody killed. I feel bad for me, I'm a victim. I got all those people killed, but I'm the victim somehow. Nobody shoot me in the head, please. And it's just great. Be dealing with that forever. It's just fucking, I mean, I'll probably be dead by then, but whatever. Fucking, I mean, sometimes the universe puts one up for me. Maybe it'd be funny, they send a guy out, he just gets struck by lightning, another guy just dies horribly in a fucking car wreck, and it's just, the universe, stop, we told you to leave him alone, damn it. And anal eating mummy going, I can't handle that, beings beyond my power. Yeah. I don't know exactly why he was bothering me about that, and I remember I started getting agitated like halfway through it, because I was just, it's your parenting style that infused Blondie with the value of, I have money, therefore I'm valuable. Okay? It is the, in the whole confidence thing, Blondie's extremely confident. He doesn't need to be any more goddamn confident. In fact, if he needed an affirmation, it would be like, you're stupid, you're dumb, you have bad ideas. You're stupid, you're dumb, you have bad ideas. Your dad actually loves you, but he can't express it. Your dad actually loves you, but he can't express it. You're a dumbass. You ruin life for everyone. You're a fuck up. You're a fuck up. You ruin life for everyone. You're selfish. You're selfish. You only care about yourself. You kill everybody and destroy everything, and then somehow you're the victim in it. You are not the victim. You are not the victim. You are the bad person. You are the bad person. You are a monster. You are a monster. You are the reason everybody is gonna get fucking killed. You are the source of misery. You are the source of misery. You are a piece of shit. You are a piece of shit. You cannot be a good person because you lack guilt and remorse. You cannot be a good person because you lack guilt and remorse. That would be Blondie's affirmation, and it would put his goddamn ego in check. Okay? He would need to hear that, trust me. He's got what they call it chutzpah in Jewish people, and they call it the will to power in fucking German. He's got plenty of that shit, trust me. He'll ruin life for fucking everybody. Everybody will fucking die horribly, and he'll be like, victim! And I was just, whatever, dude. And he started talking about how Blondie has great situational awareness. Yeah, Blondie has great situational awareness. I bet. Trust me, as a guy with situational awareness, Blondie doesn't have shit situational awareness. He's a fucking imbecile. Like, nobody will tell him either. Whatever. Yeah.